Atlanta's #1 radio stations, Swanky 93.3 and The Heat 94.6 radio stations, has you covered. From our studios to our newsroom at K.L.P Entertainment. Listen on all major audio platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audacity, Apple Podcast, Stitcher Podcast, Google Podcast, YouTube, and more.
The world's coming after you.
Gucci, go to plan B.
Okay, great. What is that?
Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, rated PG-13.
Everybody hates the taking off and putting on your shoes nightmare at the airport. But now, there's an easier way. New hands-free Skechers Slip-ins. With new Skechers Slip-ins, you just step in and go without bending down or looking for a place to sit. Try new machine-washable, hands-free Skechers Slip-ins.
These caramel cold brew M&Ms are like M&Ms with a coffee shop vibe.
Maybe too much of a coffee shop vibe.
This next one is about the importance of friendship, so I'm going to maintain eye contact while I sing it.
Oh, boy.
The entire world watched.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
And humanity saw that the sky was not the limit. Achievement. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show.
You are now tuned in to Atlanta's hottest radio show.
Even the other stations are tuned in too.
K.L.P. Aftermath. Swanky. With your host, Kennedy Lucas. On Swanky 93.3 radio stations. The Heat 94.6 radio station.
Good morning, Atlanta. Welcome back to another exciting podcast here today. This is the K.L.P. Aftermath Season 6 with your host, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas. And of course, we have our nearest and dearest, my co-host, Simone Teags is here in the studio. Good morning, Atlanta. It's July 11th. It's Tuesday. It's a brand spanking new week. I know a lot of people are very, very excited for the week. I know a lot of people got a lot of things popping up this week. You know, a lot of businesses and a lot of things to do within the week. And I say that to our fan base because, you know, it's a long week. You know, it wasn't like last week, Simone, where we only had 3 days in the office because of 4th of July. And, you know, we back at it. Full week, full 5 days of work, business, filming, podcasting, radio shows, newsrooms, animation, you know, institution. It's a lot of long weeks. Schoolwork for me, you know. We're in my next course of grad school, so we're here. We're here. It's a long week. Good morning. I just want to say thank you to a lot of people out there. Simone, you look a ray of sunshine right now because you probably had a great weekend, right? We didn't podcast yesterday. Because Monica, we had to do Monica shows yesterday, and I see you. You look like a ray of sunshine. Simone, how you doing?
Blessed and highly favored, Kennedy, as always. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your girl Simone Teags. Welcome back to our epic show, the K.L.P. Aftermath. We're in our 6th season for sure. Very, very excited for our season to come apart because it's just one of those things that we get very, very excited for. I get stoked, I get excited. As we're looking at the computer don't reboot it for us. It's all right. It's all handy dandy technology. You know, it's very, very exciting. But anyway, very, very excited. It's another great day. My weekend was pretty good. You know, I ain't gonna say I was outside this weekend because this weekend was a chill weekend. I think I might have said it on Friday's episode. This weekend was a chill weekend for me, right? It was a weekend where I didn't have too much going on. Me and Kevin, we were in the house, we were chilling, we were resting, we ate something, we had a nice big breakfast Sunday. You know, it was just one of those days where it was kind of a chill, super, super chill weekend. But I'm here, I'm ready for another exciting podcast, and I'm ready to get started.
I am too, Simone. The weekend for me was pretty good. I agree with you, Simone. So I didn't do so much this weekend. I did go work out. I went to the gym. Went a little bit of shopping for myself, and you know, bought some stuff for the house. some artwork and a clock for the dining room. So, slowly but surely getting the house in order. Most of y'all, and I ain't gonna repeat this so much on the show so much because everybody know by now, moved to a new house recently. So it's just getting new furniture, getting new artwork, getting some new things for the house itself. And Sunday, I did a whole bunch of gaming on Sunday, believe it or not. And I actually do have a review, and I know I might be late on this review of Mario Strikers Battle League. I know that game came out a couple of months back, but I'm just now getting to it because obviously there was so much other games coming out. My review is going to be coming up next on the show here today, this morning. But yeah, I did a lot of gaming. So I played that, and Simone, I played It Takes Two for the first time. Glorious game. I really, really enjoy it. I'm probably going to do both reviews real quick on this show, right? Because those are the two new, and I know these games are not new, but these games are new to me because it was the first time that I've got to play them, and I played them over the weekend, and it's extremely good. So I'll do a review this morning for that, and for my timekeeper and Tyrus to add that in too, because for a lot of people that don't know, we do have a time slot and we do have a timekeeper when it comes to our shows. But sorry guys, we're gonna have to add this one in because I knew I was going to do the review of Mario Strikers, but then I forgot to play It Takes Two, and I got to talk about that this morning. So yeah, that's pretty much what all I did this weekend. I did not too much going on this weekend, but on Sunday night, I did pop into the studio real quick because we had to do Monica Gray in the evening. Guys, go check her out. That's my baby. That's my sweetheart. She does a lot of great work with K.L.P Entertainment, and yes, by now you should have known we gave her and got her own show. It's Monica Gray in the evening, streaming on all major audio platforms today, so please don't miss out for it. We got my baby Miss Monica Gray here in today's podcast to give us a story, something that she's been thinking about and she wrote about, of course, when it has something to do with yourself and well-being. Monica, take it away, honey.
You're inebriated, it's late at night, and just like I was telling one of my friends, she's like, you know what, I didn't know that, like, this is what people do. Like, like, guys are really expecting to get with girls on the first day. And I was like, yeah, you know why? Because some women have never experienced a guy necessarily taking him out to a nice restaurant, right? So there's already that. Oh, yay, like, he's taking me out. This is so different. Wow, he must really like me, huh? Then you have, oh, he's getting me top shelf alcohol. Wow, so he's different. Yeah. Then you're so inebriated. It's, like, we're vibing, right? As they call it. We're vibing. So how about we just go back to, like, your place or mine? And then if he goes back to your place, you're thinking, oh, it's my house. It's a controlled environment. Or it's my apartment. It's a controlled environment. So I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, it's in my territory, which more than likely, like, that does sound like the safer option, right? Or you go back to his place or whatever, which people do this as well. And that's how that happens. That is literally how that happens. I guarantee you, it's very seldom, slim to none, honestly, that you find yourself hearing about situations where you're having, like, first or one night stands and it's done completely sober. I actually have never heard a story about that happening before, to be very honest with you. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, of course. But again, vast majority, that's not necessarily the case. So that's how that goes about. And I learned this from men, they get you super drunk so that they know that it increases their chance. So yeah, if they have to go get an expensive dinner, okay, to go out with you, why not? If they have to buy the alcohol that's going to increase the chances of them sleeping with you and making you more wanton so that your inhibitions are lowered, yeah, they're going to do that. I'm not saying this in some sort of, predatory way from, like, a sense of taking advantage of you in an unsafe way, but it is predatory in nature, primarily, right? Because if when someone's inebriated, they're going to be, more open and relaxed and down for more things that they wouldn't necessarily be down for if they were not in that circumstance. So that's something to consider when you're going out with a guy. Be careful also of how much it is that you're drinking. Don't ever be so nervous and worked up that you have to basically be drunk in order to carry a conversation with anybody. That's also not healthy, okay? Because you remove alcohol from a lot of situations, and what connection do some people really have, okay? Friendships, relationships, like what do we have? What's the glue here? If we're not always numbing our feelings together, it's giving trauma bonding. These are things that I actually look at and I think about, and it reveals their intentions a lot quicker, because I don't know about you guys, but I also sort of feel like I do get a little annoyed at the like late nights sort of scene, because for me, being a very sober person, it kind of makes me feel like, okay, are you even going to remember the fact that you even apparently liked me the next day? Or is this just the fly by the night sort of thing for you? How many times have you guys made connections with guys and literally all you've done was exchange numbers with them, and you've never even heard a peep out of this person? Like literally, you've said nothing, they've said nothing, and you've never spoken to these people, but you met them that night. You see what I mean? I'm sure it's happened to plenty of people. Yeah. So it's very interesting how that sort of thing goes, and it kind of adds to what it is that I was thinking, where it's like, it makes me kind of rewire how I would go about dating if I were to intentionally start dating again. It would be, I would just go out a lot earlier too, hang out with my friends a lot earlier, maybe like happy hour sort of thing, even though I'm not drinking myself, but just like genuinely enjoy myself and not put any pressure on anything is what I would do. I definitely would not be exchanging numbers with anyone at dark 30. If I was out at dark 30 with my girlfriends just like having fun, if that happens to be the circumstance, I would not exchange numbers with anybody that I met at that hour, because more than likely it's not going to go anywhere, and more than likely these guys that are out doing these types of things at this hour, probably not that serious, like in a place in their lives where they are necessarily good candidates for me personally. Now, I know that sounds super judgy, but the difference is, as women, is not only are we better at multitasking, even though, as we know, multitasking is not effective in terms of completing tasks. However, we are naturally better at it. So, considering that fact, we can create space. I've talked about this in previous podcast episodes. We can create space, even if we don't have the space. But men don't do that. You stay in that box, and you'll never progress past that. But with women, there is room to progress. We seldom keep a guy in a certain box and then just leave him there. And there's only one explanation for that, which I've said a million ways till Sunday. Men sleep with who they can, women sleep with who they want. That is the number one defining difference. That's why guys will ghost you. Instead of having a conversation, hey, this isn't working for me. Instead of just saying that, they view it as, why would I cut off the possibility of circling back and trying to potentially get in her pants? Women are not thinking like that. Let me not like text this guy saying it's not working out because like I don't want to ruin my chances of like getting with him. Women do not think like that, right? I'm sure we all can agree on that. So yeah, that's the explanation for how that goes. So it's all about knowing yourself, respecting yourself, honoring your boundaries, letting your life, be reflective of your boundaries. Because you miss a day, it's a mistake. You miss two, it's now a pattern, right? That's what's in Atomic Habits by James Clear. And it's so true. It's so easy to just begin the undoing of all of your self-care practices. And, so many different things are taking up emotional real estate in your mind. And, you know what I mean? Again, go out far enough so that you can't just turn around and walk back immediately. That's where you want to be at. That's the sweet spot. And to just, be gentle with yourself. Prioritize your relationships with your girlfriends and becoming someone that truly is having a good time in the moment, and you're going to exude this happiness in yourself. anchor yourself, read, the Bible. Like, there are a million different Bible plans that I have on my phone that are just, in my iPad, that are just so amazing. There's books that you can read as well, and spirituality, Christian type of books you can read that are super relatable for you to really help to put things into context, and it's more palatable for you. There's no excuses to not do these things. You have motivation that's on YouTube for free. There's a plethora of resources that we have at our fingertips that there's really just no excuse at all these days to be, living in such a negative mindset. There's no excuse for it. Trouble doesn't last always. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel in any situation. I'm sure there are things that if we look back at and we thought it was like the end of the road for us, here we are. 1, I'm speaking to you. 2, you're listening to this right now. And you're here to have a fresh perspective. So you've gotten over those things. So I would absolutely consider these things. And remember, like, you're not missing out on anything. You take time off this summer and you just focus on yourself. I'm not saying you don't have to go out literally ever, but just don't make it your central focus. What would life look like if you were to put in the work now? What would it look like? What would it look like if you were to actually do the things that you say you're going to do? If you were to actually prioritize the things that you want to prioritize? What would life look like if you were to keep your word? If you were to really prioritize your goals, your business? What would life look like if you were to do every single thing right now? In 5 years, what would your life look like? I mean, isn't that a profound question? If you were to do every single thing you're doing right now, what would your life look like in 5 years? Question of the day. Because if you're going out and you're doing all these, temporary activities, you're just a fly-by-the-night type of person. You're living for the weekend. You're living for the night. You're always trying to escape. What is your life going to look like in 5 years if that's how you're living? We all forget that one day you're going to be 40 years old. You're going to be 50 years old. And all this energy and vigor that you had, there's nothing worse, right? Arguably, than being a has-been, right? You meet like older people and they're like, back in the day, I used to hang out with this guy, and they always want to name drop all these celebrities, but it's like, okay, what does your life look like now? Because your life is not reflective in any capacity of you hanging out and partying with the best of the best in 2001. It's 2023 now, okay? I don't need your stories from the early 2000s and the 1900s. What are you doing now in your life? And people that are like that, the has-beens, it's because they have never grown up. They were holding on to all temporary things, thinking that it was going to get them somewhere and that the fun was never going to run out. And it does. You're not going to have the energy that you have. It's going to be energy, but it's going to be in a different way, as it should, depending on what age you are, and as you grow and evolve in general as a person, it should change and evolve. So consider these things, like whenever it is that you're going out, don't feel like you're missing out on anything, because you're absolutely not. You turn around, those parties are always going to be there. Those hot spots are always going to be there. And I honestly quickly learned that in just going out, 3 times I went out. And I realized, this is really enjoyable. I've also realized, it's easy to want to do it all over again and get caught up in, it's from, morning, it's dictating your morning, like, oh, what am I going to do here? You know what I mean? Especially when it's summertime. And I know what it also feels like to work on my goals and to realize that, hey, I missed absolutely nothing. These people are always going to be here. It's easy to go find something fun to do, but to buckle down and focus, that's what you need to do. So you don't need to worry about the summertime sadness. You don't need to worry about FOMO. You need to focus on you. You need to focus on going out so far that you can't just, trip and you're back to where you started. No. Focus. I promise you, it'll all be worth it. I posted something on my Instagram too that was reflective of that. Let me see if I can find it, where it said, I think I'm going to miss out on Hot Girl Summer this year. I feel like hustling. I'm paraphrasing here, but I felt that so hard because it's so true, you know? And I also posted a year from now. You're going to be so proud that you didn't give up. Keep going. It's all within reach. And again, I bring everything back to what it is that I'm anchored in. Me being anchored in God, in Jesus, really has helped me to evolve as a person because it really taught me the spiritual discipline and it completely shifted my lens and my focus on what it is that I find value in and how I find value and what I define as valuable in myself. That was the number one change for me. And having this perspective, and I hear it from you guys too, which is really great feedback. You guys can see it, you guys can tell. And it's not something that can be faked, honestly. Maybe you can try it on like a mask, I suppose, but it speaks for itself, you know? It speaks for itself. You can see when people have truly changed and people have truly evolved in their lives, and it's not just another like phase or era or whatever that people are going through or what have you. It really is reflective. Like you can see it through that person, that they are a changed person, that they have evolved in their lives. So let that be you, okay? And I hope that this was encouraging and thought-provoking for you guys. I feel so much better too, as usual. And with that being said, you know, do not forget that I love you, and of course God loves you, and I will speak to you, beautiful angels, in my next episode.
Yes, to all her angels out there, Monica Gray in the evening. The show is streaming on major audio platforms on Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6. Monica's always a pleasure. Thank you, baby, for doing your thing on this show. Now I got to do my thing, right? So coming up next, I told you guys at the beginning of this episode that I was going to be reviewing these two amazing games, right? So over the weekend, I had the pleasure of playing good games that I really do like playing as well. Now, I played these both games on Sunday, right? Because we were indoors. This game right now, you can pick it up for $40. $40 from Walmart and Best Buy for sure. So Next Level Games, Nintendo Switch, of course, Mario Strikers Battle League. It is a 2022 sports video game developed by Next Level Games. It released worldwide June 10th, 2022. So last year. And yes, I'm late to this game. I am. This was the first time that I was able to pick this game up. Right now, when the game first came out, Simone, everybody didn't like it. Everybody just really wasn't rocking with it, and I was contemplating. I was, because I didn't know if this would be something that I would be interested in. Now, obviously, nowadays, with the new Mario games that got announced, like Super Mario Brothers Wonder and Super Mario RPG, both those games I will be picking up and playing because I am a huge RPG guy, and that Super Mario RPG looks amazing. And then the Super Mario Wonder, I probably will buy that, play it, and just really have it for like a party type game. But I finally gotten around to playing Mario Strikers Battle League, and this game gave me a bit of nostalgia, right? Because I remember playing the first Mario Strikers game for GameCube way back in the day. It was me and my little brother. We used to go head to head in playing this game and really, really doing it out and duking it out, right? So we played it back in the day and we had fun. We enjoyed it. My brother smoked me in the GameCube version way back in the day. And then we also got Super Mario Mario Strikers Charge, right, for the Wii, right? That's the newest thing. You know, you get a little bit more characters, but you know, you got a little bit more electricity. There's a little bit more game modes in this one. That one was fun as well. Now, this one came out, and a lot of people were very skeptical, right? The reviews didn't go really well. You had a limited amount of characters, and, you know, you play soccer, right? That's kind of the basis of this. But I gotta say, I enjoyed it. I really did. I think I enjoy this game the most because I'm the person that plays FIFA, right? If you guys don't know this about me, I love FIFA. I have the latest FIFA game for PlayStation 5. I genuinely enjoy playing FIFA. And with FIFA, you're playing soccer, right? You're playing soccer, you're going against each other, you're scoring. You know, that's a sports game that I really, really get intrigued in is FIFA. I enjoy it, right? So when you have it to where you have kind of a soccer game, but now with the Mario characters and the weapons, and that game is, I genuinely enjoy it. Now, I do like it how they added a little bit more characters. I feel like they can add a little bit more characters into this game, but we got a good size variety of characters, right? And I really like it how you're able to pick 4 of the same characters if you're so desire, right? There's no limitations on the characters, and somebody can pick Diddy Kong from one team and somebody else can pick Diddy Kong from a different team with a different color jersey, and then now Diddy Kong's going against Diddy Kong, right? I like that. I really have a thing with that. I enjoy it. And I mean, that's pretty much it, right? You got the different gears. I like to play without the gears, right? Because it just, without all the things and the cosmetic things on each character, I kind of feel like it kind of gives you that nostalgia of playing Mario Strikers from Nintendo GameCube way back in the day, right? And I just like doing that. I just like playing with the weapons and, you know, a Mario Strikers soccer game, right? I enjoy it. It's fast paced, right? There's a lot of button mashing in some of the things, but it's easy enough for people to pick up and play. Do I think that people should go out and pay $60 for this game? Probably not, because with Amazon, Walmart, and Best Buy, they have it for $40. So if you're able to go and pick it up for $40, it might be worth the $40. Definitely not worth the $60 price tag, being that this game came out last year. But it's really, really good. Another game, and I'm wrapping through these reviews, right? Because these are the games that I played over the weekend, and I just didn't expect to play over the weekend, but I did. The other game, It Takes Two. 10 out of 10 from Steam, 4.7 from Target, and 9 out of 10 from IGN. Now, this game here, I played this with my brother and our good friend Shaheem. Shout out to my brother and Shaheem for sure. It Takes Two is an action-adventure platform video game developed by Hazelight Studios and published by EA. It was released everywhere November of last year. Another game that I finally had the chance to play. Now, this game here, with the use of Unreal Engine 4, this game is so freaking incredible. It's so good. Now, you have all of these characters and all of these people that's in the game, and you really can enjoy it. Now, you're playing against these 2 characters. Of course, let me get that character list for sure. But you're playing against these 2 awesome characters that are very, very interesting. Now, you've got May and Cody. I like the way May says Cody. She says Cody, you know, because they're all kind of like an English accent. Now, she's kind of the family breadwinner, May. Now, May's the sharp thinking perfectionist. She's an engineer and the family breadwinner. Used to be a talented singer, but she quit and buried her love for music forever. May claims she's fine without the music, but deep inside she feels as if she's lost a part of herself, currently trying to break the spell that transformed her into the wooden doll. So May plays the wooden doll. Cody is the caring stay-at-home dad. Now, Cody is a caring stay-at-home dad with a phony bone and a unique talent for gardening. However, Cody lacks focus after years of struggle with his nursery garden. The business went bankrupt. Cody looks at himself as a failure, and that's kind of the preconceived notion there. You know, he's the dad, he's the man in the house, he's supposed to be the man in the house, you're supposed to be the breadwinner, but it's roles reversed. I kind of see where they were going with this, because we're in today's society where a lot of games are catering for a strong female lead in today's society, right? So they got something. I know a lot of people think different. I know a lot of people are completely different with that, but this is how society is, guys. I'm sorry. So they're, husband and wife. They're getting ready to get a divorce, and the daughter Rose. Let me tell you, Rose is such a sweetheart in this game. Now, Rose she's a character, but she's such a sweetheart because she grew up as a happy and carefree child. Since her parents started to drift apart and argued a lot, Rose feels that she can't share her worries with them. So she opens her heart to the Book of Love and the two dolls created out of scrap metal. Instead, those are the toys that she plays with. Those are the things that just kind of gives her the comfort zone, if you will. Now, the Book of Love hears her request. She cries, and now Dr. Hakim, the same proclaimed love guru, and this guy, let me tell you, this guy here, we were on the level where Cody and May, as Rose walks out of the shed and she opens the door to leave, and she closes the door, but the door kind of creaks closed, and then Dr. Hakim, the book, pops in and closes the door like, nope, you ain't getting out. When we saw that cutscene, we were like, whoop his ass, whoop his whole ass, right? But like I say, I get the premise of this game now. They have to work together and find love together and do things out of love together in order to save their relationships in the hopes of saving their marriage with Rose. Let me tell you, obviously, yes, this is a game you're going to need two players to play. You can't play this game by yourself. You have to have somebody to play this game. Now, I really do wish that they made it to where if you don't have somebody, you can have like the one character be a computer player. And I mean, that would be cool, but the whole thing is you got to have two people. My brother was like, how come you never played this game? I said, well, I never had nobody to really play it at the time. So me and my brother played it. We enjoyed it. If out of the two games that we talked about this morning, Simone, It Takes Two. That's a game I think people have to buy. It has to be that game. You have to try this one. Again, 9 out of 10 out of IGN. This is a game you don't want to sleep on. It's really good. If you have a brother, sister, cousin, friend that both of you love gaming, give this one a try, right? Because this is the one, right? And this kind of fares off into like the host of Fairs. He's the game director of A Way Out, and it's kind of that same premise. And I think he directed this one too. But A Way Out is another game that we're probably going to pick up because I think on PlayStation it's like $6 right now. So A Way Out is a good one that you have to have two players and you have to have another person with you play this game and go through the story, go through the cinematics. But like I say, it's amazing. It's really, really good. It Takes Two. Pick it up. Mario Strikers Battle League. It's good. Not good for the price for that one. I wouldn't pay full retail for that one. But maybe $40 if it's a good party game, right? It's a very good party game for sure. But that was my weekend playing these two games. Let me know what y'all think about those two games because it was a fun weekend.
You hear that, Kevin? We got to get those two games for next weekend. Shout out to my baby Kevin. He's in the studio as always. Support before he jet on off to work this morning. Love you, baby. So I have got to talk about this. Now, everybody's been talking about it, so I guess it's only right that we talk about it. Did y'all see the latest news from the wonderful Miss K.K. Palmer? Now, everybody's been talking about it, and hopefully we're not too late to talk about it here on our show this morning. But K.K. Palmer has been trending, lately on the social medias. Now, K.K. Palmer, grown as K.K. Palmer, went to the Usher the Usher concert in Las Vegas. She goes to the concert, and we all saw on Thread and Instagram and Twitter of what she was wearing. She's going out to have a good time. She said, "Hey, Darius Jackson," that's a man. She said, "Hey, hold on to our newly born baby boy, Leo. I'm going to Vegas. I'm going to have me a good time. I'll be right back." She goes to the residency. She goes to Vegas. She goes to the Usher concert. And we all know what Usher does. when you're at an Usher concert and he's singling you out and you know you're a celebrity, he gonna dance on you. Right? He's gonna do his thing. He's gonna do his thing to sell the concert, to sell them tickets. Usher gonna do his thing. So it went viral when Keke Palmer was dancing and grinding and bumping and whining on Usher, doing her thing. Of course, obviously, phones are gonna be there. Everything's gonna be there. It gets viral, and now Darius Jackson, the boyfriend, because I think the Breakfast Club kept saying her husband. No, that's the boyfriend. They ain't married. They got a kid together, and you said Mr. Darius Jackson, but you ain't married to her yet. Right? So it's very, very interesting for that, for sure. He goes on Twitter, Darius Jackson goes on Twitter and said, hey, you're a mother, you dress like that. And now things start to boil. Honestly, my point of view, I don't think Keke did anything wrong. She knows what she has at home. I feel that she did it for, she did it for media, right? You can't have Keke Palmer wearing some slacks and some shorts or some joggers and some slides going to a concert. You're Keke Palmer. You're an entrepreneur. You wrote a book. You made movies. You made music. You hosted shows. You're up. So you can't wear whatever when you go to a concert. You have to dress to impress because it's that image, right? So that's why she wore the things she wore. She had to propel to an image, and she wanted to have a good time. And I think Usher was having a good time, right? I don't see, and I know a lot of people will say, Kennedy, that maybe Darius Jackson feels a little bit insecure, right? Because you got two big celebrities, right? Who is Darius Jackson? Besides the boyfriend of Keke Palmer, and they got a kid together. Who is Darius Jackson? So people say, oh, he's an actor. Okay, what did he play with? Right? We're not some Rolling Stones with K.L.P Entertainment, and a lot of people don't know our films and movies and directors and producers we got here, but you gotta ask, who is this guy? Right? Everybody knows now because he's been trending, right? I just think Keke Palmer knows what she has at home. I don't think that now she probably gonna whoop that ass when she get home, because now you kind of embarrassed her, right? You embarrassed her on social media, and it's up. Now she did tweet it that, hey, yeah, Mom, there's nothing but love between me and my boyfriend. I still love him. That doesn't mean that, oh, I'm cheating or, oh, I'm a hoe. Because that's what I've been saying on Twitter, too, that a lot of people was calling her a hoe. I was like, you're not a hoe for having fun, having a good time. And then she went and played cards right after. She's just there in Vegas. She just wanted to have a good time, right? Celebrities often get crucified for having a good time because now they have that notion that they have to be right all the time, right? She just wanted to have a good time. Comment below what y'all take on that. That's my take. I think she's just there, really to have to have a great time. Now, speaking of having a great time, now Jermaine Dupri and Drake join forces for docuseries on Atlanta's Magic City Strip Club. Now, Jermaine Dupri and Drake are on board as producers for the upcoming Magic City, an American fantasy docuseries, according to Dateline. JD and Drake's Dream Crew Entertainment are amongst the producers on the doc, capturing the mystique of Atlanta's famous strip club that has long been a staple of the intersection of hip hop and culture in the city. That is true. I've been to Magic City a couple times myself. It's pretty good, right? And this was before I met Kevin. Now, this was a quote from Jermaine Dupri. Magic City is the second home for me, is one of the places where celebrities, hustlers, politicians, and Atlanta locals all come together. Dupri says, and this is a quote, guys, what he's continuing on, I've watched it evolve over the years from a local joint to an internationally recognized spot. Yes, everybody knows Magic City, even if you're not here in Atlanta, because we are here in Atlanta, so obviously we're going to know what Magic City is. But even if you're not from Atlanta, you don't live in Atlanta, and you come to Atlanta, you know to go to Magic City for a good time. Now, it's about time to tell the story the right way. Now, I think they're going to be in their bag with this. The 3-part series was wrap production and is directed by Charles Todd, which is very, very good director. Fans can expect interviews from 2 Chainz, Nelly, former NBA All-Star Shaquille O'Neal, Quavo, Killer Mike, Big Boy, and more. Kennedy, they got a lot of Atlanta people. I mean, because you got Killer Mike, Big Boy, Quavo, and 2 Chainz. Right? And they're all from Atlanta. So they got a dream team right in here. Very, very interesting. Can't wait to see this. I'm going to see it, obviously, because we've got to review it for our show here. But this is really, really good. Atlanta's where it's at. I think this is going to be a great opportunity for them to capitalize on this and to really see the story about Magic City. I think this is going to be a #1 hit. Like, if let's say if they, and I don't know who's their distribution gonna be, if it's HBO or Netflix, but I can tell it's gonna be trending for one of those streaming platforms, because this is a well-known area. So comment below, will you see this Magic City docuseries produced by JD and Drake? Let us know. We want to hear from you.
Magic City. Yeah, of course I know about Magic City for sure. Coming up next here this morning, Simone. Of course, we've got the wonderful James Myers is here in the studio to give us his latest in hip-hop news. He's going to talk about Victor Wapabubop Wapbamboo. I'm just kidding. I don't know how to pronounce his Wambaya. His last name is very, very hard for me to pronounce. Guys, you can check out James Myers' latest new show from K.L.P Entertainment and the radio station Swanky 93 and the Heat 94.6. Sports Talk with James Myers. That's another show that we're producing here for our network. It's a great show. Check it out. He's talking about sports and he really goes in. James, take it away.
So Victor Wembanyama was the story of the weekend in the NBA. The next great player, right? The best prospect since LeBron. Some scouts are saying he's the best prospect ever. I know you think you know more on social media, but every scout I know, and I've known a lot for a long time, say he's as good as any player ever, barring injury because of his unique size and length. My 3 takes over the weekend were, he needs to get stronger. Hopefully he will. Not all skinny bigs get stronger. He needs to get stronger. Second thing is San Antonio has a history developing bigs, so he landed in a really good spot, and he was a little jittery game 1, and that saps your energy. Yeah, it's okay to be nervous at 19 years old for your first job interview, your first big meeting, speaking in front of 500 people for the first time, or your first NBA event that's official. He was nervous, he was jittery, and that saps your energy. But by game 2, he gave you 27 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 blocks. He is already disruptive on the defensive end, and that's really important. I always say this about running quarterbacks, is they're trying to figure out the league. Their legs can get them wins. As Wemby is trying to refine his offensive game and get stronger, his defense will be disruptive and a force in the NBA. I've been saying this for years about running quarterbacks. I like a little ability to move because it takes you about 3 years to figure out the league. Folks, he played against men in Europe and crushed. And European basketball is better than our college basketball, and it's not particularly close. Those teams would blow our college teams out by 40, and he was dominant. He also his European team played against G League teams a few months ago, twice. He scored 37 and 36 at 19. He's come from a significantly better basketball league than our college league, and he dominated. And oh, by the way, he was jittery in game 1. Of course he is. I've seen Greg Norman on a golf course disintegrate. I've seen Kirk Cousins in primetime games as a grown man disintegrate. It's okay for a 19-year-old in the United States coming to this country being a little nervous in game 1. But his defense will be disruptive. It was in both games. It's going to be his rookie year. His size is unique. He's smart. He's thoughtful. You guys love all these dynamic point guards. Scoot Henderson, he can't shoot. He can score one way. He's big, strong, fast. He's Westbrook. Can he shoot? Maybe he becomes one. But you love John Wall. You all love Tebow, and you had film and game and game and game for a guy that couldn't throw. But you had convinced yourself that Tebow was going to be great. Some of you still believe it. Tebow's not an NFL quarterback. I got like 45 games to show you. Either starting or in reserve. Can't make the throws. Wemby has a jittery game 1, and some of you are selling his stock. Listen, it's gonna hurt your feelings. Your dynamic point guards that can't shoot don't win titles. Scoot Henderson is not going to lead you to titles. He's just going to be really fun to watch. He's going to make some all-star teams. Going to get rich. I can't wait to watch him. Wemby's going to lead you to titles. Sort of like Giannis and Jokic. Embiid hasn't won titles, but the last 5 MVPs are all from abroad. Out of the country, foreign-born. Here's a reality, and some of you don't like it, and why you're rooting against him. European bigs are taking over the league. They come in more mature. They come in more skilled. They play against men. Their culture's actually better in developing players sooner than ours. Steve Kerr's already ripped AAU. Greg Popovich probably doesn't love it either. European basketball develops players against men early. This kid's going to win titles. By game 2 in the Summer League, dominant. And his defense is already disruptive, and that will be the key as he tries to get stronger. He needs to put on 10 pounds. Probably going to take him a year. I've talked about this. If I had Wemby, and the Spurs know what they're doing far more than I do, but if I was the Spurs, I'd play him about 58 games, most of the home games. But when they go on 2- and 3-game road trips, I'd keep him home. I'd let him sleep, lift weights, and eat. I'd do that 4 or 5 different quick 2-game roadies out of San Antonio. They're playing Houston. They're playing the Mavs. Stay home. Reward your home fans. Put weight on. Sit in the weight room for 3 hours a day on those trips. Play them 58 games. Who gives a rip about Rookie of the Year? It doesn't mean anything. I was reading over the weekend, like LeBron James' first Summer League camp was in Boston. He didn't win the MVP. I never heard of the guy that did. Who cares? But he's going to be really good. And some of you don't like it. And you fall in love with the shooting guards out there, and I'm not taking shots at him. I would vote a lot of these point guards that can't shoot, I'd put them in the Hall of Fame. But they don't win titles. Can't trust them in May and June. This kid's going to be great. All right, so I saw this one over the weekend. Interesting story. A question was asked. Do you know Andrew Luck is just about eligible for the Hall of Fame next year? Andrew Luck. You know I love me some Andrew Luck. And I know what you're saying. I mean, Colin, come on. You only played for about 6 years. Brevity of career does not eliminate you. Gale Sayers, 4 great years, made it. Then he had the injuries. Terrell Davis, 4 great years. Well, Super Bowls, yeah, well, Elway had a lot to do with those too. If you're going to let compilers into all these Hall of Fames, people who were very good and played for a long time, then I'm going to fight for great briefly. A lot of you love compilers, your favorite local player who led the league in doubles 4 times and hit by pitches and played 19 years and was never the best player on his team. Andrew Luck did something I don't think Brady or Patrick Mahomes, Favre, Bradshaw, Aikman could do. He took a horrible roster and went 11-5, 11-5, 11-5. In fact, 4 Pro Bowls in 5 years. They never had a losing season when he was healthy, which is remarkable because according to PFF, the Andrew Luck era had the 28th best defense, the 24th best rushing game, and a bottom 6 offensive line. And he got to the AFC Championship. I don't think Mahomes could do that, and I think Mahomes is amazing. But here's my thing. If we're going to keep fighting for compilers, every time I hear about the Hall of Fame, there's guys and I'm like, they didn't win a game. They weren't worth a point. And not just football. Me in baseball, you see it all the time. 26 years of this and not. Sandy Koufax had 6 great years. 3 phenomenal. Nobody has a problem calling him the best pitcher ever. It's not the Hall of really good for a really long time. It's the Hall of Fame. Fame, famous, fame, being great. That's who's famous. Fame, all-time stuff. Andrew Luck was impulsive when he retired. People said, he was banged up, but right before the season, and that didn't sit right. But Isn't his owner arguably as impulsive as any owner in the league? I've seen impulsive GMs that play the game, what we call it, ready, fire, aim, do things without thinking them through. I've seen coaches be impulsive. I've seen owners be impulsive. And at least he had an excuse. He got the hell beat out of him. I would have preferred he didn't retire right before his season. I don't think the Colts have ever really recovered. They've been scrambling since. But basically, if you look at those Colts teams, they're the opposite of today's San Francisco 49ers. They were awful everywhere except quarterback. 11-5, 11-5, 4 Pro Bowls, 11-5. 5 straight years when he was healthy of winning seasons. Yes, when he retired, ticked people off. Yes, it was very short. But you gotta understand. You gotta understand. Gale Sayers, Terrell Davis, Sandy Koufax. I mean, Gale Sayers was a running back. And I know it was more of a running back league. But if you're gonna all let compilers in, and I do think in this soft time that, we want to be nicer and we want to, include more people and stuff, which I'm all for. If you're going to do that, because I see it happening all the time in Hall of Fames, well, why can't I fight for great? I don't think Brady goes 11-5, 11-5, 11-5 with one of the worst defenses, O-lines, and no run game. I don't think he does. By the way, his coach, Andrew Luck's coach, who got fired, who he had, has never been given a second job.
Wow. Thanks, James. Shout out to James Myers again, guys. Sports Talk with James Myers available on Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 radio station. Now, we introduced a new segment last week, and of course, I've got to talk about it. We've got one more thing for this morning. Episodic, great podcast with great cast, of course. Now, Stephen A. Smith speaks out about ESPN's layoffs, and this was quotations, "I could be next." Now, I'm just going to analyze this real quick this morning for our fan base as well. I'm not going to talk bad about the ESPN because I have done some work for ESPN, and hopefully that I get to continue to do some work for ESPN. So, not going to go down that rabbit hole because I love ESPN. I get a lot of ESPN notifications about latest sports topics and whatnot, and being in front of a ESPN camera and a microphone. You can tell I'm lining something up for an announcement coming later, so it's coming later. I can't really get into it right now, but something's coming later from ESPN and K.L.P Entertainment. But anyway, I think this was a part of, a lot of companies are doing a lot of layoffs, right? Companies are. ESPN is the latest extension from Disney. So Disney has also introduced, a couple weeks back, they introduced a new plan to start cutting some things, right? As things are getting expensive, inflation is up. Everybody who is everybody, being Stephen A. Smith, he probably most definitely get paid millions upon buku millions to be a analyst, journalist, and a broadcaster. But yeah, Disney's making some cuts, right? A lot of these big broadcasters and analysts, they get paid a lot of money to analyze these things. And, they say, hey, you're too expensive for us, right? You're too expensive. Now, ESPN's Stephen A. Smith is wondering if he, too, might be soon out of a job. And this is coming from CNN Business News. I think this is a little bit, I guess they're writing it just for their story. But come on, you're Stephen A. Smith. You're going to find a job, right? I don't buy that whole he might be out of a job. No. Because you've got all these different sports networks other than ESPN that wish they had Stephen A. Smith, right? I have no doubts that Stephen A. Smith is going to find another contract and another thing. I know ESPN is his baby, though, right? First Take, that's his show. That's his baby. Now, Smith, he's the host of the network's shows debate, The First Take. I saw several of his high-profile colleagues, along with Jalen Rose, Jeff Van Gundy, and Keyshawn Johnson, laid off this week. He says this, and this is a quote from Stephen A. Smith: "This ain't the end. More is coming. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I could be next." Smith says on his show Monday, acknowledging the difficult time in the media industry. Yes, it's difficult. Trust me. We may not be as huge as ESPN, But I'd be lying if I say K.L.P Entertainment, we go through some things. Right? It's a difficult time for everybody in this media industry, whether you are a podcaster, broadcaster, film guy, film director, producer, composer, music producer, whatever. It's difficult right now. Makes the strike and all the other things, and things are expensive, right? I agree. It's hard right now. Now, his layoff colleagues deserve, and this was a quote, deserve better than the times that we're living in. Smith says ESPN's cuts are only the latest layoffs across several media companies, including The Athletic and the National Geographic and CNN. CNN has made some cuts. Obviously, we know about Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson, right? Even though they say they've been fired and let go, that's part of their cut. Now, ESPN owner Disney had announced back in February that it will be a layoff of 7,000 people across its business. Smith noted so ESPN employees were aware that cuts were likely coming, but a personal familiar with the staff reduction of the sports networks told CNN that ESPN's layoffs were unconnected with Disney's larger layoff plans. I think that's a lie. I really do, right? Companies right now, companies are finding ways to cut costs because things right now are too expensive because we're living, again, it's not just inflation and groceries and gas going up. It's businesses, hey, I got to cut you. Sorry. Now, it's interesting. Of course, operating grew 56% to $12 billion back in 2022 for Disney. But hey, companies, and I say this, some companies that you put your all into, some companies don't give a rat's ass if you put your all into a company. That's why I say to a lot of people, if you work for a smaller company that just, it's not hidden and you just don't get the sort of respect that you deserve and you work really hard, don't give 120 to 150% to that certain company because they'll be quick to cut you and hire somebody cheaper, right? I have friends that got let go from different type of retail type jobs where they cut you because they don't want to pay you what you deserve. They're going to find some young buck to fool and say, hey, he's dumb, so we can pay him cheap, right? That's what I say to a lot of people. Don't give your all into a company that doesn't care. Luckily for us here at K.L.P Entertainment, I make sure I take care of my people as much as I can. Take care of them because those are, you guys here in the studio, you my ride or die. But like I say, Stephen A. Smith, I don't think he's going to be out of a job if he gets cut. I think there's plenty of other sports network will pick him up. Or, hey, he might even start his own show, right? Because he can. He has the money. He can start his own show if he wanted to and monetize by himself and get money that way by himself. But I get it, being represented from a brand, a recognizable brand, ESPN. I understand. But it is true. Layoffs are coming for these media companies. They're cutting left and right. They're cutting. It's a sad reality that we live in, that companies are cutting people. And some companies are hiring people too. Just depends on where you look. So shout out to Stephen A. Smith. I'm sure he'll figure it out, but he's just riding the waves right now until we get the news report that he's been let go, right? God forbid. But I'm sure he's going to be on CNN and all these big sports networks. I'm sure a lot of sports networks are going to pick him up. You know, you never know. So that's going to wrap it up here this morning. K.L.P Aftermath Season 6 with your host, K.L.P Kennedy Lucas, Simone, Monica, James. It's always a pleasure to have y'all a part of the show. You guys of what makes our show, and rest assured that you guys are not getting cut. I promise. So that's going to wrap it up here on the podcast. Please stay tuned for more podcasts to come this week. And if you're listening to us on any audio platform or where you get your podcast from, appreciate it. Thank you. Share it so you guys don't miss the next episode. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit that bell notification, letting you guys know we upload next, and subscribe to the channel. So that's going to wrap it up here. Good morning, Atlanta. K.L.P Aftermath Season 6 with your host, K.L.P Kennedy Lucas. As I always like to say, stay safe, stay swanky, peace.